this hunger death consumed. Greetings and welcome back to the Tournament of the Living Dead. I am Flesh Wound Dan, joined by producer Todd.
Good evening.
And Pugs is booing you. That's Pugs Dread.
I booed Dan. I booed Flesh Wound Dan. And I'm going to say howdy.
And our zombie expert, Chris McGibbon.
What's going on?
All right, so guys, the tournament's heating up, and Pugs, if they're joining us late, let them know how it works.
What we do for our tournaments is rate and review a film, and then at the end of the episode, we'll add that movie to a list compiled from our previous episodes, and then we will vote to eliminate one of those films off the list, leaving us with our 3 zombie films, aka our 3 survivors. Then those 3 final survivors will go up against a new zombie film every episode until we reach day 13. And when we get to that point, we will pick one of the 3 survivors as our Tournament of the Living Dead champion. So now that that's out of the way, Todd, tell us our previous eliminations and whatever the hell else is on the menu.
Thank you, Pugs. Eliminated thus far: Primoto's Fallen Angel, Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse, Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things, Dead Girl, Nightmare City, Biozombie, World War Z, 13 Eerie, Dance of the Dead Hate the Living, Undead. Our final 3 survivors are Lucio Fulci Zombie, Return of the Living Dead, The Living Dead at Manchester Morgue, and now entering the competition today, Shaun of the Dead. Dan,
all right,
about so this on its what anniversary?
20th. We all feeling old. I still remember the trailer and thinking like 20 years, that's rough. So yeah, 2004, writer-director Edgar Wright. We have Shaun of the Dead. There comes a day in every man's life when he has to get off the couch and kill some zombies. When flesh-eating zombies are on the hunt for a bite to eat, it's up to slacker Shaun and his best pal Ed to save their friends and family from becoming the next entree. All right, so whoever wants to go first with this one, this is a film that is certainly not declined one bit in popularity. In fact, it got another theatrical, small theatrical run.
No, it was not a small theatrical run. It was
everywhere. Okay,
it was Dolby screenings. Then it was after that. It was in regular screenings. It had a good run.
Even more impressive. I'm never sure. I Atlanta, so I get everything, but.
I went
awesome.
to the 10-year anniversary with Edgar and the chick who plays the female Shaun. I can't remember her name. She played Edna Candy in Wonder Woman.
Nice. I
forgot. But I went with Kyle Wilde and the Pumpkin Queen Sage Supreme. So that was a good time.
Good company. Company. So whoever wants to go, your history with this movie, like I think we all have probably a Shaun of the Dead story.
Not really. I saw when it came out.
I
saw it early. I know that, right?
Well, okay, I'll go because I had already gotten into space because there was the thing about it.
Yes.
There was the Resident Evil episode. That was like the thing everyone was like, you have to see this one. Now watching it now, it's like, okay, it was a lot bigger than. I mean, I still love the episode, but calling it the Resident Evil episode is kind of overselling it now, I think. But it was still as time when we were starving for that content, but fell in love with the show. And then the movie got the import, didn't want to wait for US theaters, and fell in love with it and still love it today. Finally got to see it in the theater for the 20th anniversary in Dolby. So packed theater too. So that was nice.
Worth the wait, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
So that's my brief history with the film.
All right.
Very brief.
Yeah, well,
Chris, do you have a brief history? Masterpiece of a movie.
I mean, I guess I'm in the same boat as Todd. I heard about it. I bought the import DVD before it was released here. I think that DVD was out for at least a year before we got it, right? Maybe
no, it was closer to like 6 months.
Okay,
but it felt like a year back then. We were younger.
Maybe, yeah. And I did go see it in the theater when they released it over here because there were a lot of folks I knew that wanted to see it. The remake of Dawn of the Dead had come out, and everybody was running to see another zombie movie in the theaters. So Shaun of the Dead was an easy grab. and it played like gangbusters, and it still does, and it became sort of the staple horror comedy formula for a lot, like every new horror comedy.
That's still what I reference it.
Yeah, it was compared to Shaun of the Dead, like Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Was compared to Shaun of the Dead by critics, and
they really want to go all out. It's Shaun of the Dead and Evil Dead too.
Right? Yeah. I mean, it really just kind of Shaun of the Dead became the staple. It still kind of is. There are like Zombieland was the funniest zombie comedy since Shaun of the Dead. And it was just it didn't really its popularity kept growing and growing and growing, and it still obviously is just as popular back then as it is today. And I think it's a phenomenal movie. I mean, it's definitely one of my favorites, and it's one that every time I watch it, it's still funny, and it still has a lot of heart. It's a very it hits you in the feels. It's a very well put together film. Everyone's on board. I know that there was a discussion recently with the filmmakers about it being remade, and they all kind of had the same response to it, that they don't feel like that it would work as a remake because they wouldn't be able, no one's really going to be able to recapture that time. And I think it was the same thing with the sequel too. They said both ideas, like they just they told the story they wanted to tell. There isn't a need for more. And that's one of the
I
things
would still like From Dusk Till Dawn, please. Like that.
Yeah.
Maybe make it a comic book or something.
That's a complete reboot, like because you're just ignoring the thing.
I just want those characters.
I would have been fine with that if that happened.
It's one of the things I love about British filmmakers and British content creators in general is when they feel like they're done, they're done. They don't go after the money and the paycheck. They're just like, there are shows from Britain that are super popular that end at the height of their popularity because once they tell the story, they just stop. They don't keep going and say, oh, well, people are still watching. We're still making a lot of money. Make another season. They're just like, no, the story's done. We're good. And
there's Doctor Who.
Luther.
Doctor Who, Doctor Who, they bring in new creators and new folks to come in, and it's always a different set of people behind the camera and in front of the camera. Yeah, so it's not like it's something like that's like a long running thing, but there's a lot of shows from that side of the pond and movies that are one-offs.
Look at the original Office. It's 2 seasons and a special.
Yeah.
Ours drug out 10 seasons.
They refer to it as series over there.
Yeah. One of the funniest comedies to come out of Britain was a show called Vicious that I adore, and it's 2 seasons and a special. That's all. It's just like off The Office, and it's one of the funniest shows I've ever seen. So,
yeah, I agree. Doctor Who though probably needs to go away for another 20 years at this point, but this is a movie that really was, I think, lightning in a bottle. I'm not sure if it came out today, if it would have the same cult following that it does. I don't know what it is about this one in particular, because British humor connects for me. It doesn't connect for everybody, so I'm still kind of amazed 20 years on that this one,
the fact
for whatever
that you
reason,
could tell that they were buddies, though. That's
it's a hangout movie when it comes down to it.
It's universal.
And honestly, I think this would be a bigger film if it was released today because we didn't have social media pushing it back then. Everybody.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Okay.
This movie was word of mouth 100% because this was a limited release at first, and then it was one of those ones that they put in more theaters because more people started seeing it. The only reason it came to theaters was because Dawn of the Dead did so well. So Universal had this other movie. I mean, think about it. Like Todd said, it was 6 months later that we got the US release. I mean, they could have released this at the same time, and they didn't. And that was back then when like you had a 3 to 4 month window before your movie came out on DVD or even overseas. So this was out almost for a full year in the UK before it hit stateside in theaters, and it was limited, and then it grew, and that was all word of mouth. If you had social media fueling this thing today, it would have blown up just the way that it did back then. It's a timeless, funny, classic film, not just as a zombie film. It works on so many other levels that just makes it stand out.
the friendship, the emotion. It has all
Yeah.
the things.
The fact that the comedy is just the living cast and all the scary shit is it's a perfect fucking mix of what to do. So.
Yeah.
And again,
the zombies
just
are
the
all
buddies. Like we all have best friends. We're kind of that together. But you understand that relationship. And
Right.
so I don't know. It's just universal to me.
Yeah.
And when the horror hits too, I mean, it's a very gory movie. The scene, I forget the character's name, but when he gets pulled out the window and he's torn apart,
Yeah.
they don't go soft.
David, that cocksucker.
Yeah.
I even shit talk him because we just watched the killer. Yeah, we just watched the Killer's Game and he pops in as the priest. I was like, yeah, fuck that. Yeah, why do you think I said I was pissed off because he shot Sean's mom in the face?
I forgot that. You're right.
Because Dan didn't get the reference.
It's an idea, miles away.
The young coworker too that works with Sean that kind of busting his balls. He was in one of the last Jurassic Park movies, I believe.
He's
as well.
been in a few things too.
Yeah. So you can kind of see, and it's very clever humor. I mean, I guess there's a little bit of toilet humor, but for the most
too. That's why it works, dude.
Yeah, it's very clever. Some of the gags again in this one, and I think it's almost a movie that even non-horror fans appreciate. I know some people that are not into zombie stuff at all that still love this movie, so it's a good introductory film.
Even on the other show, Ozzy V is a big fan. So
yeah, and he's lame as shit. So I mean,
I don't know many people that don't like or if not at very least like or love this film. I really don't. It's a very short list
that doesn't like it.
Yeah, I can't think of anyone either.
Yeah,
which is good because
all right, you're at it.
I can't trust that person if they're like, oh, it's the shittiest movie ever made.
Yeah, I can understand if I meet someone who's not too big into Hot Fuzz or The World's End. I loved Hot Fuzz, but The World's End I was a little lukewarm on.
Yeah, I like that.
But
I think I need to watch this now.
I like all of them. But
if you're gonna shit on Shaun of the Dead, we just can't be in the same room anymore.
When Queen kicked.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. When Queen kicks in and you have that big action scene and the girl throws the dart into the back of Sean's head was one of my biggest laughs. So it's the physical comedy hits, which doesn't
kill the Queen. What? The jukebox.
I remember I bought the soundtrack immediately. It's nice because the white lines thing has it mixes in the clips of the movie.
Dude, that fucking soundtrack on CD. That I bought that soundtrack at Tower Records, and it was $50 fucking, and I spent the last $50.
Did you get the import?
It was on CD. It was whatever it was. They had it there, and it was $50, and all I had on me was like 52 and change. I had just enough to cover tax. And then I went out to go go home, and I was like, oh shit, I don't have enough money for the tray.
Oh fuck.
So I had to figure out I had to call my mother and have her wire me some money to my bank account so I could get home. Because I was like, shit.
What year is this? Why are you the money? Was this 1802?
I was I was a broke teenager.
For kids, that's like selling the money back in the day.
Yeah. I was a broke teenager back then. I spent all my money as soon as I got it because I was stupid. But I mean, I had nothing.
You curb stomped a hobo and you took that extra change for the.
I still have that soundtrack too. That's one to hold on to the day I die.
Yeah.
So you won't be throwing that at a zombie apocalypse,
right?
Oh yeah, the record scene. That's Liz's, and he just like.
I do not appreciate the Batman soundtrack. Really, we're throwing that one? All right.
Yeah.
Hopefully, he had the Bat Dance single, and he was okay.
Oh, let's be real. Party Man's the real standout track on that album. Come on.
I'm with it.
I'm not. I don't know the Batman soundtrack enough to.
We can get.
I mean, I used to, but yeah.
All the fucking references to other zombie movies. I think this one does it the best. There's "We're coming to get you, Barbara." That made me pop.
So many that goes over so many people's heads.
A lot.
It does, but you still get it, and it's still funny even if you don't get it. And that's what I was referencing before with Dead Hate the Living, is that you have to be in on the joke to understand what those references mean. In this movie, you don't. You're the joke is the joke, regardless if you get it or not. Him
And it
yelling
might just
into
be
the
even
phone,
funnier.
right?
because
Him
of it.
yelling into the phone, "We're coming to get you, Barbara," isn't the delivery that makes it funny, you know. But if you
And
understand
know
what
the
it's
line,
from, then you're like, "Oh, haha, clever," you know.
The place with the fish. Yeah.
And the fucking heartfelt turn that Sean has for Bill Nye, whatever, however you say his name, fucking Davy Jones.
Oh, his father, yeah, stepfather.
Yeah. Ah, fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
I ran it under a cold tap. Like when he finally calls him like dad and stuff, I'm like, this movie's just hitting everything right. I fucking love them. Everybody. It's just it's perfect.
This kind of Bill Nighy, this kind of really launched him into a lot of American films. He had a big run, Underworld, Love Actually, which is another big cult classic now. A lot of people love that.
Wasn't that
just had an Oscar movie?
I don't remember.
Underworld was
Love
before.
Actually. Oh no, it wasn't.
Underworld was before 2003.
This was 2004. Underworld, I want to say, is 05.
I'm saying
I'll
Love
stand
Actually.
corrected. Oh, Love Actually. I
I'm
thought it
talking
was
about Underworld.
after.
Is that really?
Well, Love Actually is also a British film, so that wouldn't apply anyway.
Well, but I'm saying
Underworld was 2003, Dan.
Thank you.
Okay,
and so was Love Actually.
I thought it was after. So
and so was Love Actually. So he was already a thing. Because I remember them getting him was a get. So he was already.
This was for a year. So I don't know. You might have shot Underworld.
Well, I only remember because I had Celine on my fucking binder.
I remember him being a get. So he was already a thing.
Okay. Well, stand corrected then. But yeah, a lot of amazing actors in here. Martin Freeman shows up for like 2 seconds as well, and he's in everything now as well. So
have we all done a watch along to Shaun of the Dead, like together?
No, we have not.
Not us. I feel like you and I might have done it back in the day, Chris, but or Melissa and I at the very least. But yeah,
no, we didn't watch this together.
That may have happened, Todd.
All right.
Yeah,
did we talk about the film enough? I don't know. I mean,
this was spread out. This was like the most calm. We all love this fucking thing.
yeah. Other than fighting over a release date, there's very little fighting.
That was like Underworld. That didn't even matter.
Yeah.
I did want to say earlier, like this movie is imprinted on the actors so much that I still don't call Simon Pegg. I'm like, it's Sean. I don't call Nick Frost. It's fucking Ed. Like,
right.
It's just iconic. It's identifiable with them. I guess nothing but positive. We didn't even mention you got Red on You. That's like a gigantic fucking line.
Yeah, that's the name of the book. There's a making of book, and that's the name of the book. Is You've Got Red on You.
Like stuff like recently. Some of the sly things, the 4A electronics. I mean, there's all the stuff that's in there. There's like it's there. It's like you're in the world with like the references.
Well, I also think too, like it speaks to the talent of the people involved because everybody involved in this film went off and kind of did their own thing and were successful. Yeah. Everybody has had careers that have, worked. I mean, Nick Frost is still doing work. Edgar Wright's still working. Simon Pegg's still working. They all kind of. But whenever they come together, it's like it's just like a family reunion, and everyone's waiting for bated breath for them to make another movie together. And it's like, come on, guys, we know you got one more in you.
They haven't made a bad one together. I like the entire trilogy. And not part of the trilogy, but I actually like Paul. People shit on Paul, but I like.
I thought Paul was fun. Paul was fun.
Yeah.
It's like the basketball in their thing. It's like basketball. Well, but I'm saying it's not like purely their movie. It's someone else's movie they're acting in. Versus and that's the same thing. That's that's.
I'll take it. Cast those two and more stuff together. I'll take it with a different director. They have great chemistry.
Can you imagine they fucking hate each other right now? We don't know. Like that'd be weird. I'd be hurt actually.
My feelings would be hurt too. Yeah.
Nick Frost is all mad because Simon's getting that Mission Impossible money.
You could have brought me in. You're dead.
And Star Trek.
2 seconds.
Yeah. I'm talking about something that's actually still a franchise, though, Dan. Not a dead property.
Fucking franchise. It's in production.
Okay, that's like me referencing the fucking the Dark Knight trilogy that it's not active anymore. It's not active. I'm saying it's like
It
Dan's making
is
like his thing.
active. It is in production, Todd, or in pre-production, I should say.
What the
talking
fuck did
about?
I just? What I
don't-
tuned? I'm not gonna
See,
lie.
we had to fight. We had to fight. So.
I don't know. Even what
Sean
Dan's
brought us
talking about
together
now.
too fucking
I know.
calmly.
I'm not even gonna lie. I tuned out for a few seconds just because I couldn't stand listening to Dan talk anymore, and now I hear you guys, fighting. What's going on?
Well,
I don't even
I'll close it by saying, if Todd turns into a zombie, you can't stay with me, Todd. There you go.
I don't think he wants to. I think he'd rather be anywhere else.
If I am
Todd, let
forced
him
to
have
stay
that
with
one.
Dan as a zombie, just
put me
shoot me in the head.
Damn. Well, all right. Let's get back to a kumbaya moment and rate this thing.
Hey Dan, no, you don't get to pick the order.
Oh,
It's
you're
a
not done?
determined
Okay.
order.
Well, yes, I wasn't
Chris,
going.
You were about to. Chris, what are you rating this film?
It's a perfect 5. I couldn't give it any lower than that. There's not one flaw in this film as far as I'm concerned. It works on every level. It's a classic for a reason, and it's been around for 20 years, and I see this one being discussed in another 20 years and another 20 years, and it's still being a benchmark of what people put as one of the greatest horror comedies or horror films ever made. So
agree, 100%. 5.
Cosign all that. 5 out of 5.
5.
One
All
big
right,
asshole.
so there we go.
Mm.
One gape. I was going to now. Okay, yes. Now it's
no, we gotta
now Chris is sweating. Now this is what I was saying, Chris, before I name him off. It's funny because back a couple episodes ago in The Dead Hate the Living, you mentioned that you couldn't vote for that one because that film, without the films that came before, wouldn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just pointing that out before I read the films off tonight.
I got you.
So up for elimination tonight, we have Lucio Fulci's Zombie, Return of the Living Dead, The Living Dead at Manchester Morgue, and entering the competition, Shaun of the Dead. Chris, of the 4, what do you
I'm not
eliminate?
going first. I want to hear what you guys.
Oh no! But see, this is the order we do it now. See, we're doing it so we can't fix the order.
Well, there's no fixing of the order. It was random in the last fucking handful of shows you did. Now you want to put me first?
No. It's always gone. It goes one. If you look back, it goes every show. It moves to the next person. So the next show, I'll be the first one. I know it sucks, doesn't it? It's better than being the last one. I'll tell you that.
Right. No, it's true.
It'll be next.
Wow.
Honestly, because there's
exceptions to every rule. If
I know, right?
you're worried about that.
No, it's not. It's not that I'm worried. I mean, I'm not eliminating Shaun of the Dead. I can't. It's
okay. So that would you're
that one's off the
now you're
table.
down to
But
3.
I'm between Let Sleeping Corpses Lie and Zombie. I'm not gonna lie.
Ooh.
The only reason I'm
Shocker,
picking,
not the other one.
I'm gonna go with Let Sleeping Corpses Lie only because I think in a lot of ways that movie isn't as influential and isn't as impactful as Fulci's Zombie is.
Manchester also. That's the
Living Dead at Manchester Morgue.
Bugs, quit going out of order.
Yeah, so that's
no.
the one.
He kept saying.
He's giving
what did
me
I
all
say?
the
Having his back. Let's see.
What-
Before
I'm sorry. I thought you
sorry.
wrote out.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I was using.
I don't know what I was thinking. I know what your vote is. I'm sorry.
Same
That
thing,
was,
same
that was me.
thing.
Dan
Yeah,
moment.
same shit.
Yeah, but yeah, that would be the one that I would eliminate just because now I'm kind of basing it on influence and impact, and Living Dead at Manchester Morgue of the 4 has the lesser.
You do not have to.
That's my justification now.
No, I'm saying okay.
Because you did make it a point to bring up that
I did because I wanted to see if that
so
was
now
still...
it could be part of it because I mean Shaun of the Dead, they were listening to the Living Dead at Manchester Morgue score where they wrote the script, so obviously there was an impact there. But if you ask people to name the top 10 most influential zombie films, I can almost guarantee you Living Dead at Manchester Morgue is not going to be on there. So
I do think that might be more.
Maybe now,
get...
but not. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm also. Out of what's left, I have to let Living Dead at Manchester Morgue go. So that leaves the Dan. Dan knows what Pugs is going to pick. I'm curious what happens.
You guys made a big mistake targeting that one. I love Living Dead at Manchester Morgue. I'm gonna vote Return of the Living Dead.
Hey,
If you had said no, I won't tilt.
Yeah, don't tip your hat, Dan.
I was gonna say, so Pugs, before you vote, just remember you're gonna make Dan happy.
You went after my baby. What can I say? I love
it's
Living
his
Dead
baby. I'm just throwing that out there, Pugs.
This is his only chance, though. I'm curious what Pugs is going to do. Not the one to end on him.
Fuck. I'm shocked. You know what? Let's have this argument for a little bit. Return of the Living Dead.
Okay, so that leads to a tie. We don't have a defined way to set how to choose.
Weren't we debating so one of us changes our mind?
We can do that. I mean,
we can try.
Okay, so what films are we to? We're to.
It's Living Dead and Manchester Morgue. Let me. I just want to.
While Chris is doing his research,
getting his boxing gloves on.
I'm gonna look something up because I want to see if maybe you guys might think that this might be a fair way to do it. Okay. I want to make sure that like it's not one of those situations where yeah. Hold on. Well, all right. So would we be comfortable saying that if in a tie break situation like this, we could go off of like, let's say, an IMDb score?
Nah. Well, you know what? As long as it's Rotten Tomatoes, I'm okay. But
because IMDb is like it's user based, right? So it's not like it's a critic thing. It's people who go on and vote.
I don't think I would be swayed by an IMDb. There's bad films. There's really good films that have low IMDb scores.
I mean, Living Dead at Manchester Morgue could win over Return of the Living Dead. This could be the opportunity to keep it on here.
I have no idea.
They probably won't.
I'm not going to check. I'm not going to check.
I'm not looking either.
I mean, Return of the Living Dead wasn't like some smash hit right off the bat. I mean, it got there obviously, but
it was a huge hit. It made like $9 million on a $3 million budget.
It
was one of the biggest films released of that year. What are you talking about?
But it's not Night of the Living Dead. You know what I mean?
More people confuse it for Night of the Living Dead, to be honest.
I'm just not gonna like go by box office on this one.
I didn't say to go by box office. I said IMDb ratings
or IMDb.
Well, then Dan, try to argue someone to sway. Yeah. You're not doing anything to get your choice.
Explain to them why
you're just whining about
Living Dead. More people know Return of the Living Dead. I'm not going to argue that one bit. I think Living Dead at Manchester Morgue, very different kind of movie. It should be better known. And I have to say it's the better movie. That's me. And that's just, I don't know if I have more of a justification other than that. You know, if it was Tombs of the Blind Dead, I'd say the same thing. That's just me. If you guys went for a different movie,
look, you're not going to convince Chris. Try to convince Todd.
Well, we weren't going for anything. I picked the film I would watch again the least. The other films I will definitely 100% watch again in my lifetime.
Yeah,
Living Dead at Manchester Morgue is a 50-50.
I love Living Dead at Manchester Morgue, but I mean, I've seen the other three movies without on this one. I've even seen Shaun of the Dead more than Ed. Living Dead at Manchester Morgue, while it's a phenomenal film, there are certain aspects of it that I'm like, oh, okay, like, you know,
so
probably could have been handled a little differently, a little better. But overall, like, it's a very well-made, competent film. I'm not saying that at all. I mean, we gave it a high. It lasted this long for a reason.
So here would be my argument. We all here agree that Living Dead at Manchester Morgue is a really good movie, right? Yep. Just to make that clear. There's at least one out of the four that thinks Return of the Living Dead is a piece of shit.
Yeah, I like why you're fucking weighing that. That is funny.
But you get what I'm saying.
I
like
do.
I mean, and obviously I love Return of the Living Dead.
See, that's not helping your argument. You've already basically admitted you're doing this because you're trying to save your movie. So there's no way you're going to sway me, Dan. That's the problem.
And I don't know
You legitimately said before you voted, if you guys had picked a different movie. Well, first, I picked the movie on the list I wanted to watch least. So the fact you're just
free to
picking
change your
it to
mind
lock
now.
it up doesn't really do anything for your discussion. You have not proven to me why it's a better movie. You've basically
It's
just
hard
said, I'm
because
doing
they're
this because I don't want to get rid of the other one.
They're two totally different movies. I can't. I don't even know if I can say one's
run
better
down the
than the other.
positives on I'm so excited I can't fucking think.
Well,
Manchester.
I won't re-review the movie, but mood, just everything about it. I think it's one of the scarier zombie films. You know, I mean, Return of the Living Dead. I could say a lot of great things too, and I did. If you go back to the review, I almost think we're at a point where this one might be a.
We can go by the IMDb scores.
Well, try to talk. You gotta put some work in.
Well, all right. I mean,
try to talk Dan into.
We got the
other way.
We got the IMDb score.
All right, so
method.
Here's the scores for Living Dead. Living Dead at Manchester Morgan. IMDb currently sits at a 6.8 out of 10 out of 9,500 votes. I'm even going to look to see how many people rated it a 10. Hold on. I'm going to click on this, and why is it not showing me this?
No, I'm assuming Return has more votes total. So
it might. I haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, let's get that denier man here, Dan.
That might work in its favor too. It might be a little bit lower, but more people.
Okay.
So I don't know.
And Return of the Living Dead. I can't see who rated it a 10. The app, it's not showing me. Return of the Living Dead has a 7.3 out of 10 based on 70,753 votes. So almost 10 times the amount of people who voted for Living Dead at Manchester Morgue voted on Return of the Living Dead.
Voted on the wider released movie. Okay. Wider available movie, I should say.
Well, Pugs, let me ask
you. They're both available on Blu-ray and whatnot now. So you can't say that people can't find them if they don't want to.
True. I'm not denying more people have watched Return of the Living Dead. But
Pugs was saying that. Pugs was saying that one was more readily available.
Yes.
Pugs, you would be the weirdest one to flip, but I guess
no, because I can always just abort your baby because you mentioned it as your babies, and I've been known to be a fan of that. But I am enjoying myself right now, so all I'm gonna do is talk shit on Return of the Living Dead, and there's no point. And all you're gonna do is praise.
I get that.
And
Todd, where are you at?
Todd said, "Fuck you, Dan." That's all.
Well, you're a Euro horror guy too, right? You would say that. I mean,
okay. Here's the thing, Dan. You tell me these 4 movies. That's the one every time I'm going to pick to eliminate. So me changing it, it's kind of difficult. I'm just doing it to do it.
This might be one of our biggest.
Let me ask you a question, Dan.
Go for it.
This is not me asking you to change your vote. Out of the 4, which would you honestly get rid of? Like you don't want to watch. Like out of the 4,
we could switch our vote. That is true. That has happened. All right. So we got, just to recap: Zombie, Shaun of the Dead, Living Dead at Manchester Morgue, and Return of the Living Dead. Is
correct.
As hard. That's going to suck no matter what. But I would have Shaun of the Dead for me. Just it would. Yeah. That would be what I would go for.
I'm picking Manchester. Fuck that. Manchester's gone. How fuck you, Dan?
I'm just
that's fine. But the fact that you
the new biggest Return of the Living Dead fan, Pugs.
To save Shaun of the Dead, yeah, that's fine. I'll take that bullet.
Well, it wasn't in danger yet. I just said like.
He said yet, so now he's gutted.
No,
it Manchester. Not gunning for anything.
We're scraping that baby out.
And just again to provide this perspective, I did manage to get a hold of the amount of people who rated Living Dead at Manchester Morgue 10 on IMDb. It was 820 people compared to 11,000 who rated it Return of the Living Dead a 10.
How many have both seen the movie? have seen both the movies.
That I
That's
what
can't.
I
That I
have.
can't
I know you
figure out. That I can't figure out. But
Well, that would be the number we'd eat.
Yeah.
We will crunch
Yeah.
the numbers. And,
So,
We're not doing your denier math right now.
Dan
Dan.
botches himself.
you know what? I fought for it as hard as I possibly could have. I'm
Did
cool
you?
with it.
That we didn't feel very
But
hard.
you know,
Dan.
see, Dan lost me with the fact he.
I
straight
didn't
up
flip
said-
on Living Dead at
No,
Manchester Ward.
But you lost me because you said you were only picking because we went after your movie, which clearly me and Chris were not. We were picking the film we wanted the least.
It's
You
tough.
want me to go
It
after
just
your
happened
movie?
to line up that way, but the fact that
They're
you
all
mentioned it, Dan,
different,
Todd's like, fuck
John.
that.
We've got Stone Cold Classics. They're all
Well,
different.
I was going to tell you there was one. I was swaying on Return too. I'm kidding, Pugs. Don't worry.
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say, don't do that to him.
But guys, we still have one more entry, and you might have. This is going to be very interesting. I'll just say that. So you don't want to miss the finale of Tournament of the Living Dead. R.I.P. Living Dead at Manchester Borg. We at least all agree you should see it if you haven't. And I think
it made it far. It wasn't. Yeah.
We've
Wasn't like all the
highlighted
other
some
films
good
Dan put over, they'd immediately eliminated.
Yeah, that's true.
This
have
film
more.
is great. Fuck it, it's got here.
And I encourage you to see pretty much everything. Have we reviewed too much that anybody is
13
like,
Eerie.
hated? I like 13 Eerie.
Well,
Yeah,
three other people did.
Yeah,
disagree
yeah.
with you on this one.
A nice
We're gonna
call.
give
I
it a
love it.
Three other people.
You didn't give it a 0. You didn't shit on it like that. I would.
We couldn't remember it, Dan. Most of us couldn't remember the fucking movie after we just
Well,
watched it. That's how
I'm
great it
gonna-
was.
We need to put a wild card, and then I'm just all the way with 13 Eerie now. But all right.
That was a wild card.
Just
All right.
the
On
way.
that note, Dan, say goodnight.
Good night, and we will see you at the finale.
Money's on the dresser. Chris?
Love you, Pugs. Thanks for coming over to our side.
I'm very fucking pro death, so I'll see you in Disneyland.